decent economy. An actual fact, it seems like TeamOne, they've pulled the rug from underneath us. They're starting on the T side. Okay,
Fair
this is interesting.
enough. Indeed, as we are going to see them, you know, spread out for the most part. A couple towards ladder, a couple towards T-Con. So it seems like they want to do some type of outer split with Maluk setting up some utility to help them get in. Boomich tries to get up close and gets caught.
Caught straight away, and PRT will punish him. So a great start for TeamOne. As another bullet has been put in. This time it's simple. Flamey also exploding out of connector. Takes off the head of Mobs and goes in for seconds. He's also got a point to prove. There's been a lot of debate, a lot of criticism coming his way. Maluk with the Glock puts down one, but now Perfecto is there to stand his ground, and Na'Vi claim first blood.
Yeah, it started off giving you a little bit of hope in TeamOne. Again, they're catching Boomich, playing this aggressive position. They're well set up for an explosion on this outer yard, but then Simple and company able to reel it back in slowly but surely throughout that outer yard. And so now we will go into a bit of a force up here from TeamOne. They're going to get the scout on Maluk. They're going to have a Tech 9 on Skulls, and we do see some Deagles out as well as some very basic utility, just enough smokes and flashes for one good execute, as they are seemingly looking to try to maybe punch into inner, but Electronic Company will be in place.
Oh, he's in place to perfection with Simple. M4 at range. HE tossed in for good measure, and this really never got rolling. This after a force buy as well. So they've yielded nothing. Not even a single point of damage inflicted to Na'Vi.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. When you're making that type of investment, you're hoping you're at least going to force some rebuys, maybe get a bomb plant. Like the inner yard rush is definitely one of those, you know, strats that usually can yield a plant as long as you're able to kind of trade out that initial player. But they didn't get any of that, Vince. Like you said, not even getting some health off of Navi's lineup there, as Na'Vi will, of course, keep the MP9s and FAMAS rolling into this round. Simple will have the silenced M4, however, as it is to be the full save from TeamOne for the most part here.
Interestingly enough, I think I may have been bamboozled off the graphic, because apparently this was TeamOne's choice. This was not the pick of Na'Vi. Na'Vi went for nuke. TeamOne went for trade. So I think that's bamboozled us both there, Dust.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not really too shocking. I mean, I think that, you know, these are two of Navi's best maps in the last 6 months, aside from Dust 2, which of course got banned. So I think that they were fine with either one as far as like a pick goes. And then, yeah, for TeamOne, again, hard to say where their pull really rests whenever they're playing in this region, as we are going to see them at least be able to put their best foot forward in this round, Vince. We do see AKs across the board. We do see the AWP on Maluk. So this is where they need to try to make a bit of a statement here, try to get some confidence going against a Na'Vi team who are, you know, so far loving how things are going. They've only lost 3 players in total in the last 3 rounds played.
Yeah, exactly. The bulk of which are in the pistol. Maluk, though, early on with the AWP, already down on Ivy, but there's a smoke there to greet him. So alongside his teammate that did shoot a couple of bullets out, which was PRT, have given their positions away, but still early days into the round, and Boomich is deciding to get aggressive with the MP9, potentially pushing into main.
Makes sense, right? If you're playing this bonus round, you want to try to get those SMGs in a position where they can have impact, and so playing up close in something like Brown Halls or up close on ladder, up close on T-Con is where you're really going to be able to kind of force those close quarters battles and try to get the most out of that MP9. So putting him in that angle is going to be good news. Unfortunately, though, Maluk has found Flamey over at Ivy. This is going to force the support from Perfecto to be diverted, and so Boomich will now try to find a bit of a safer position inside the ladder room itself. But TeamOne have gotten that opening pick. They got the 5-on-4. They can start spreading the defense thin and look for gaps now that they've caused a little bit of rotation out of Na'Vi. It seems like they're still not quite set yet, and clock is starting to tick a bit, but it seems like they are starting to make that gather over towards box halls. Valves and Skulls have had control of that area for quite some time, and now the rest of TeamOne seems to be getting in position. But we see some aggression coming, perhaps from Electronic.
Yeah, Electronic gets up ramp, gets one, but that's probably not going to be good enough. As the team looks to spill out, the bomb's actually been dropped down. Someone has to go and get that. And this is where the time could very well start to play a piece in the round, but they have shut down the entirety of Na'Vi. It was the bonus, and you can see that they are still stacked with cash. They could even go for double up if they so chose. So they're good to go.
The luxury of winning those rounds clean earlier on. We actually see some Augs being fought here before we get to the replay, but that's a big pick for Maluk. It kind of forced Na'Vi to scramble a bit. Forced, you know, Electronic even tried to go for a play and only went 1-for-1, and then when Simple goes down for free, that pretty much seals the deal for TeamOne. So a great opening buy round. But now you do have the AUGs out and the AWP for Simple. Very heavy-handed with the AUGs here on Navi. Not something you see all too often, but on a map like this, it does kind of lend itself at times to the AUG.
Sure, yeah. I think it's tailor-made for maps like Train and Dust 2 in particular. So definitely an understandable purchase, but definitely harkens back to maybe a year or so ago when the AUG was king.
Oh, yeah.
Still incredibly powerful, though, of course, in the right hands. And Na'Vi wielding 3 of them. However, Smoke to contend with an Ivy will be smoking away to tease, but it is dispersing in a few moments.
Yeah, I've seen several teams incorporate like 1, maybe 2 AUGs, but I usually don't see this many. But again, Train kind of lends itself with a lot of these long lanes to be a little bit more heavy-handed with the weapon if you so choose. As again, TeamOne keeping that same kind of slow and steady pace across the map right now, just kind of spreading out, looking for opportunities. Again, Boomich getting aggressive inside TCON, this time with the M4, and this time he's going even more forward around that smoke, looking for something, not finding it, will now re-smoke and continue to stall TeamOne out or force them to play through this utility. And so it seems like TeamOne are just kind of being held off from really kind of instilling their game plan for now, but they will have to make a decision here soon. And it seems like Outer is going to be their target.
Flash through, Boom, it's fully flashed, can't see anything, and finally it's finished off by Mobs. 22 seconds to play with. Only the first piece has been removed, and there's still Perfecto and Flamey on the A side. Actually, all 4 now of the CTs are moving into position, and it seems that TeamOne are just way too slow. Finally getting some head of steam with a couple of frags by their side. Electronic is burning alive, but the bomb will get denied. And with the bomb denial in effect, the round will slip away. Skulls maybe can get a kill after time. He's not interested. He's going to hold on to the AK instead.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where even though Navi lost the opening battle, they just killed so much clock with how they were layering their utility and how Boomich was able to hold that forward position for so long. Yeah, sure, he wants to be able to get away or get a kill before going down and, you know, give Navi even more advantages, but they had already, again, done enough to kind of starve TeamOne of map control and of time to, you know, battle back once things, you know, started to go a bit awry. That's always the danger of, you know, playing that slower style or, you know, being stalled out for so long. Now they have very much less to work with in this round, Vince.
Oh yeah, if it was Grim before, oh, it's got incredibly bleak. They've got 2 AKs, one of which was the saved AK on Skulls, and Mobs has picked himself up one. Flashbang is good. Doesn't allow the teams much safe passage. Finally, though, they have taken the head of Perfecto and run away with it. Simple. And Boomich now gifting him for frags, and Flamey stuck on the side just sprays through. It seems so disjointed for TeamOne. Like, they're not really pushing through together. They're now stuck in an awkward position with a Deagle and an AK, and PRT has no Kevlar behind the AK. It's looking incredibly difficult for TeamOne to get any more kills, let alone the round at this point.
Yeah, it seems like this is pretty much a done deal unless PRT just pops off. Does have the time, but he is stuck. They know exactly where he is.
He's landing some headshots at least, making it costly for Narvis. A nice try, but ultimately goes the way of the CTs.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they had a good initial trade and they were able to pick up the pace a bit, and I was liking how things were playing out, but once they encountered these 2 players over towards the bomb train, once they got past Perfecto and got that trade, it's like they didn't realize Boomich was up top of the bomb train. They were so focused on playing that Boomich kind of was able to be a little bit of a snake in the grass up there, which is kind of surprising because it's not like that smoke gave him that much sanctuary. He was definitely sticking out quite a bit, but that combination of Flamey and Boomich basically shut down the rest of that attack, and it's put Navi up 5-1, but at least there's a buyback now from TeamOne. But to be honest, their utility is sparse, and Mouse is on a Galil, as well as Skulls, so it's still far from ideal right now for TeamOne. Have to do more with less in this round.
Already down to just 2 smokes. Only
Yeah,
one Molotov.
Especially on a map like this where there's so much that you want to block off and cordon and isolate, and it really limits your options, especially if you get stalled out again and you're first to burn utility just to get like initial positions. Then once you want to go for the site, you have even less, so could be tough.
No hope on any fakes as well, so it has to be more one-dimensional. Once you throw the smokes, you've got to play behind it. Now, Na'Vi may not realize fully the situation at hand for TeamOne, but their utility has already been so good. They still have an incendiary and a couple of smokes of their own and a couple of flashbangs. And TeamOne, although they have got a little bit of maneuverability over on box halls, really not much else they can speak about.
Yeah, again, Navi have done well layering their utility to not only, kind of keep TeamOne in that slower pace style that they're already kind of naturally trying to play, but they're not really giving them other options to pick up the pace. And that's the strength of having a good, strong CT economy. Good trade, though, at Inner might open something up for TeamOne.
30 seconds, bomb spill, but retrieved. And now a beeline across to the side, but Simple and Perfecto are just shutting it down. No real hope. They even have the bomb across to the site. And to be fair, the Pesadelo, he's done a decent job of picking off the head of Perfecto and may very well get a bomb plant for his troubles. So at least gets that reward, but Simple quickly snatches his life away, as is so often the case. And it's a successful retake for Na'Vi and a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, something's going to have to give here soon from TeamOne. And the problem is it's tough to make adjustments now on the T side because with the CT economy flowing like this, and with them constantly surviving the 3 more members, they only really have to rebuy utility. And their ability to really come up with utility, it makes it to where TeamOne can't really play faster. Like, you can't really push out T-Con quickly because you're going to have to run through a nade stack or run through an incendiary. Same could be said if you're trying to push Inner quickly. You could get stalled out in that lower ramp because of CT utility. So it's really kind of forcing them to be a little bit pigeonholed in what strategy they're able to implement. And I just haven't really seen them show any signs. If we were already, talking about how low of a chance they had to win before we even got to watch some gameplay, I feel like this only reinforced their theories.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you've nailed it there, to be fair. I mean, TeamOne, it's been few and far between, and even glimpses of possibilities. They've got onto the site, but then just get shut down. They get onto B site, but it's at the loss of every life, and it's an easy retake. They haven't got anything that we can really back behind and say, okay, that's definitely a way that they can continue to rinse and repeat the rounds.
There was a couple of times where they were able to get like an initial trade, get a 4-on-4, and get a little bit of space to work with. But then it's like the follow-up wasn't really there either. So they made a little bit of progress a couple of times, but they still haven't taken that next step they need to really threaten one of these sites, as they're, again, trying to gather up some utility and make a bit of a push here towards Inner. They're blocking off Cloud, so Simple can't get the free op shot, and they're going to try to get in here.
Electronic and Simple, though, the tag team duo, once again reigning supreme. Open M4 in hand. Simple has the cross dub. It actually misses his shot uncharacteristically. It may give them a chance at a post plant, but considering they have no flashes or smokes to burst out of there with, there's already incendiaries been put down to deny the fast plant. It's not looking good for the Brazilians again. Maluk, though, threads the headshot onto Electronic. Does alleviate a little bit of the pressure, but there's also a flank element coming in. Boomich is wrapping around the back. If they push out, Simple has them. If they stay in position, Boom should be able to devour them whole with the AK. And indeed he shall. It's had another couple of casualties, but Na'Vi will not care.
Yeah, that's the problem with like the stalling tactics that Na'Vi are imposing upon TeamOne, is it's making it to where they already have everyone in place for the retake before it would really be even considered a retake, right? They already had like 3 players on site before the bomb ever even got planted there from TeamOne. And because Na'Vi keep, getting favorable exchanges, they're able to set up flanks, and TeamOne aren't able to cover it because they had way too many responsibilities to divvy up between the remaining forces they have left when it comes to the late round. And so it's just really kind of just snowballing against TeamOne for that reason. They're losing it every step of the round except for maybe some of the initial opening exchanges. And other than that, they've been caught. That round, they tried to get a little bit of smoke cover and flash out to try to explode on Inner, but Simple able to avoid it and still get that op shot off that they were trying to deny of him. And this is getting really grueling now for TeamOne.
Not faring too much better. That secondary AWP in the hands of Flamey successfully deals damage to Maluk. Overkill with the headshot. Boomich with a bit of damage. PRT and Mobs also being chipped away. And Perfecto with already 6 assists. Quintessential teammate. It's going to go down without too much of a fight to Pesadelo's hands. So maybe this is the moment that we've been waiting for, that we can rally behind for Team1 to actually pull something off. Bit of an off angle here as well while the smoke will clear, but PRT decides not to push through and to actually back away instead.
Yeah, they're still getting stalled out, though, on some of these choke points. Now Electronic has found Skulls trying to do that lurk in inner yard, which he's tried to do a couple of different times on some of these outer hits. This time, it's been exposed early. Flamey still has this angle towards Ivy. That's PRT down. And once again, the herd is being thinned. Only Malbs left with no access to the bomb. And only really time on his side. Everything else against them, low health, no utility. I mean, this is a battering.
Yeah, this is one of those score lines that it definitely paints the full fair picture. Mobs is just hoping to hold on to an AK at this point, and that's the saving grace. That's the silver lining on the dark cloud overhead.
It's not much of a silver lining, and I'll say that. As this is another round where Na'Vi will survive with 3 or more members. I feel like I haven't seen a round where, I mean, there's maybe been like one round where they only had like 2 left at the end. I don't have the timeline in front of me here, but it just does seem like these rounds have been absolutely dominant. At least Mal's able to take Simple down there and keep the AK, but it's not as if Na'Vi are too concerned. They have plenty of bank to replenish that, as well as their utility.
So kicked it into gear with Flamies. Excellent work on Ivy with that secondary AWP. And yeah, sure, Simple goes down, but Mobs didn't push out to pick up the AWP, doesn't retrieve it, so they have a significant lack of firepower and only a smoke and a flash between the 5 of them. I'd like to see TeamOne mix it up here, Dust. We haven't really seen many explosive pushes just yet, and sure, Na'Vi's utility's been on point, but at some point, TeamOne have just got to close their eyes and swing wildly, because otherwise they're going to get slowly choked out for like a 14-1 half.
That is certainly true. Like you said, I mean, the utility and the fact that Na'Vi are playing so assertive on these forward positions does make it hard to try to implement some faster tactics, but you have to feel at some point you just have to try to force your way through it and see if it works, because playing the slow, spread out style while you've gotten picks here and there, you've never been able to capitalize. Now, this round, they once again get a 4-on-4 and they get a post plant kind of quickly, but they have so many low health players and they get Lumic on this flank and he's absolutely blindsided Maluk, and it looks like this round's already pretty much taken care of for Na'Vi.
Our Skulls with 2 kills and 26 ADR will be hoping to add quite a bit to that mark. Does get it done, but it was a scrappy frag onto Perfecto. Realistically needed the insta-1 dig to stand a chance. Na'Vi, another successful defuse on the B site, 9-1 lead.
Yeah, it seems like our worst fears about TeamOne's chances are starting to become realized. Again, they've had a few other maps in EPL that have gone a similar route where they've really just not been able to put rounds on the board. Was hoping that they would obviously be able to put something together here, but they're just not efficient enough or hitting their skill ceiling enough to really expose some of Na'Vi's vulnerabilities lately. Right, it takes an actual, true elite team to really show you Na'Vi's flaws, and it seems like TeamOne just aren't up to that task right now, Vince.
I think that's a very fair point. TeamOne's still a team that is trying to solidify their own legacy going forward in Counter-Strike, and they've been playing against some very stiff opposition. You've got to put that in perspective, and yes, it's been a rough group stage thus far, as Maluk gets a really nice shot onto Flamey. So at least gives them something to play with, but now Electronic's going to get into box halls. 2 players there waiting for him. Should be going down the second he peeks in, and Skulls takes his head clean off. Finally, we have TeamOne with a 2-player advantage.
Yeah, they've never had this before. They've had a couple of 4-on-4s at their initial exchange. They've never had just a full-on 5 versus 3 like this. And if there's ever a hope to win around, it has to be now. You have to imagine they push Perfecto off the angle at Ivy, so they're starting to establish some various routes to start making an attack. Boomich, he's trying to see if he can pull off something there. Does get caught, but at least able to get away and reposition to fight another day here. But they have so many advantages now on TeamOne when it comes to map control. They're exposing back halls. They have players positioned towards inner. The bombers and ladder not committed.
They're making so much noise. Boomich could hear them both from a mile away. Plus, when he peeked up Pop Dog, he saw the bomb was there. So even though he didn't get the frag and wasn't picked off himself, it was information. Now, I think Na'Vi may be overthinking this one as they're rotating both players onto A site. Or are they? Because TeamOne are now starting to come out onto A as well. And Simple, Perfecto is still alive. Simple flicks across to take down Pesadello, and they've just nullified Maluk. That's the bomb that drops with him. They don't even have to go for frags anymore. There's not enough time. TeamOne have utterly blown their own kneecaps off. They push back onto A in a 2-on-4 with no scouting dust, and they pay the ultimate price.
Hey, Vince.
Yo.
Did TeamOne just lose a 5 versus 3 with like 50 seconds left on the clock after they got the 2 initial picks?
Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we're seeing the same thing. You could just tell how timid they were, though, Vince. Like, they had a 5-on-3. They had back hauls. They traded 1-for-1 on Boomich, so now it's like a 4-on-2. They had access to inner. Bomb was tucked ladder, and they just didn't commit together and got picked apart.
That's just going to kill. You're already getting battered. Losing an advantage like that, not going to fare too much better. They try and rush out. We did talk about having more explosive strats, and I can respect that TeamOne have tried it. But they walk into the gauntlet once again. 5v2, and Na'Vi don't lose these rounds. They won't allow you the opportunity to slither away your back in.
No, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, though, Vince, is when Na'Vi are playing this forward style of defense on ladder and T-Con, and they have the economy trying to do those faster strats, while it's respectable because you want to change things up, it often ends up like this, where it's just so hard to get past all these nades, all these incendiaries. To get past that initial choke point just takes so much effort. When you're this far behind on the scoreboard, your confidence is rattled, your individual form isn't really shining through, and you're just at a massive economic disadvantage. You just can't really break through in those ways. And that is one of the reasons why Train can be so defensive-sided, as they are just getting straight plowed.
Yeah, this is a mauling. And when you have such a brutally low amount of rounds and you're going through into the CT side, as we just discussed before, yeah, sure, it's the CT favored map of Train, but you have nothing to play with here, Dust. Like, one mistake, you lose the pistol, you're basically already done.
Yeah, all I'm thinking right now, Vince, is luckily we don't get paid by the hour, because this one might be done soon.
It's feeling that way. It definitely is. A lot of people would have felt that would be the case going into this game, and it's definitely lived up to that mantle. As simply destroys skulls, and in doing so, gives a 5v3 again across the Na'Vi. They have both of their ops in play. Boomich is low on 22, but the smoke's already been deployed. There's been a flash and a HG, and that's it for TeamOne to try to pass out onto the site with a Boomich has cartwheeled away Moluke. Well, it's looking like another round where Na'Vi may not lose a single player.
No, probably not. You got Boomich out here opping instead of Simple. I mean, that's how you know Na'Vi are just not concerned at all about how the rest of this is going to play out. They're more than happy to give other players chances. Maybe it was just because of position that they passed it to Boomich temporarily. He has passed it back over to Simple. I did see them pass it to a player from Z to Bomb Train, so maybe it was like health related. I'm not really sure. Either way, yeah, it does seem about time for a tactical timeout. It does seem like it's come a bit late. I actually honestly forgot we even had tactical timeouts in Counter-Strike because I was just shocked to not see one come out on the board earlier than this.
It does feel like it's about 4 or 5 rounds late. I'll definitely
It feels like it's about 7 to 8 rounds late.
Sure.
Like, as soon as you were down like 4-1, 5-1, you probably should have called one.
That's fair. I think that's definitely fair, especially as a lot of the rounds have been so one-sided.
What? I mean, you got 4 of them. When are you gonna? You might as well just use them all now in a row. If you keep losing rounds, you get them all out there. Get your value.
Well, let's see what master plans they could potentially hatch after their tactical timeout has came and gone. Pesadillo just outside of main is there alone, and the bomb dropped back at T-spawn. So it doesn't seem like we're going to have any fast executes, at least. And more of the same in terms of their formation. Maybe trying to go for an off timing. Perfecto's already up close on Ivy, though, and trying to sense and suss out what this potential play is. Flashbang not affecting PRT, was saved by the dumpster and puts Perfecto swiftly into it. The TeamOne have the advantage, but we've been here before.
Yeah, it kind of was a gift wrap to him, though, to be fair. Like, Na'Vi at this point just seemed to be...
Oh, I think Dust has a couple of connection issues, so I'll just fly this one solo. Could be done pretty soon, though. Boomich gets flashed into main, and no one is home, so he dips out of there. But I think what Dust was going to say is that we've seen these situations play out multiple times where TeamOne have had much better advantages than this current round, and they have been unable to grasp at any of them. Just one smoke remains, a molly, a flash, and a HE as they look to push their way in. Excellent entry from Mobs. That's more like it, but they get shut down on Boots and Simple as well. Boots now sprays in for 2 more. He's burning alive, but it's completely worthwhile. And although Pesadello's picked up the bomb and he's trying to traverse across to the site, Even if he does get a post plant coming up, I don't fancy his chances against Simple and Flamey on Ops. Now, if the 1v1 goes his way, maybe there was a chance, but Flamey has taken that away with authority, and 13-1 falls in.
Yeah, it's just another round where we get the same result, maybe a different path to get there, maybe a bit better effort from Team1, but it's just still not coming together, is it?
No, it's more of the same, honestly. At this point, I think you just run out of things to say. Na'Vi, you've just been that dominant, Dust. Like, how do you break this one down? Just been superior in every single possible way.
I think the really only analysis that we can do is just try to figure out how many synonyms we can come up with for getting wrecked.
I'm sure they're all flowing through Team1's head right about now.
Yes.
PRT picked up the first frag in the pistol. Will it come full circle? Will he get the first in the final round and a half? Nope. Electronic just straight through on B site and destroys Pesadillo. Skulls goes not long afterwards. And although PRT has chipped in with a frag, it's too little too late. Although he has got 2 now. So maybe they can end the half in winning ways. Electronic is waiting and biding his time in Pop Dog, but a secondary smoke is there to deal with him, and Mobs goes in for another one. Simple has been put down.
There's a chance here for the remaining members, perhaps, of T1. All on Flamey now, 1 versus 2. Low health, though, on both these players does give Flamey a chance, especially if he can land this HE grenade. Now, the bomb has been evacuated through Z, and it won't even matter. PRT will finish the job, so at least 1 more sign of life out of T1, but still a tough uphill climb. We'll figure out if they're up to it after a short break.
Yeah. Let's talk. Look, ayo, we rose from the dust to the sun. They claiming that we the one, never one-on-one. Teamwork till we done. Sent on a mission, we got ambition. Never scared, we won't run. Never one and done. Some sit back and some like the hunt. I pick my teammates up when they fall. And if I ball, we all ball. Crashing balls, crossovers and all. Just call us the balls. Don't fear nothing, call us galore. Serving them all. We outside, we barely indoors. Because we gave it everything when we had nothing. Gave it everything when we had nothing. Holding on by a thread, couldn't grab nothing. Seems we moved on to a better place. Shine, shine away from the shade. But now that we're here, ain't no going back. This is the moment to go. This is the moment to shine. This is the moment to show. Show me the rocks you could climb. This is the moment to feel the path like you legally blind. I can promise this is ours cause we built for this, kill for this. Pushing buttons, do it quick, push it off and do assist. Oh, y'all think we new to this? Pound for pound, break it down. Watch what we gon' do with this. Teamwork got us fluid with. Make y'all look like sewages. Gave it everything when we had nothing. Gave it everything when we had nothing. Holding on by a thread, couldn't grab nothing. Seems we moved on to a better place. Shine, shine away from the shade. But now that we're here, ain't no going back.
And we are back. It was an absolute demolition on the first half between Na'Vi and TeamOne. Na'Vi 13-2 in the lead, and TeamOne managed to pick up a round in the dying embers. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit worse. And now the TeamOne squad has to try and somehow salvage this half, and it has to start with this pistol round.
Yeah, you have to imagine without a pistol, this is a big fat GG being typed out quite soon, because it would be up to them to just like force buy to try to scramble back if this doesn't pan out. Good nade damage, though, being exchanged. They do have Simple down as well over towards the Ivy side of things.
Great headshot, but it was at cost of a lot of HP. Smoke has now been put into place, but Boomich has wiggled his way outside of Pop Dog. Does spot a pixel just for a moment, and is cognizant of potentially being wrapped around from B site. So Na'Vi are putting their eggs in the A basket for now, but there's still 50 seconds to play with.
Yeah, and they've done some heavy damage to a couple of TeamOne's players, and even Maluk has been chipped away at a bit to where he's going to even be more vulnerable to a headshot ending his life. So it's one of those things where TeamOne definitely have some good things going for them. They're kind of playing more of a retake inner strategy, and they're kind of just gathering up an outer, which is a solid call. But there are some ways back into the round here for Na'Vi based on that health discrepancy on a couple of the players.
Maluk, though, puts the headshot in perfectly and a second to follow up. Electronic has to clutch a 1-on-5 with 20 seconds and no control of the bomb. It was never looking good. And TeamOne take the round in style, not losing a single player.
Yeah, they kind of won the rock, paper, scissors battle of positioning there at the early part of that round by, you know, putting some good resources over towards that Ivy side, getting that initial pick on Simple right away. And they're just playing together from that point forward, making sure they were never going to allow Na'Vi to, like, single out a duel to try to reel it back in, despite, you know, again, putting in some good damage to TeamOne with some of their utility, but couldn't build off of it. So they will come into this with just the Glocks, mostly. 1 PT50 for Electronic, 1 Deagle for Simple. You might as well give a Deagle to Simple, give him a chance to maybe pop off, but looking pretty good for TeamOne to go ahead and capitalize.
PRT elsewhere on the map, didn't quite catch what happened there, but he's been chunked down to 25 HP. And considering he's playing Ivy, I can only assume that it was potentially like a HE or something was tossed his way. So he has fallen. He's now softened up for the targets of these Glocks. And of course, the P250, the aforementioned Deagle in the hands of Simple. It's looking like with the smoke and the flash, they're going to be looking to try and hit on the B site momentarily.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mouse is up close with the MP9, so he could shut down the chance at a bomb plant. A good counter incendiary there on the lower ramp will stop Na'Vi from gaining access. Again, this is more about just trying to get a plant for Na'Vi. Luke, though, misses a shot. They start actually getting some space in the yard. Mouth's only good for 1, so that plant is probably coming.
Plant is down. But it looks as though Na'Vi will be following it pretty shortly. Not too much HP, only Flamey alive on full maximum hit points. MP9, but no Kevlar. Aim punch always an issue. And although they do get the plant down, it was minimal investment. TeamOne can come straight back in, get that defuse. With the plant, though, it's going to be a solid, healthy buy for Na'Vi already.
Yeah, I mean, their goal was just getting the plant, not necessarily winning the round. That would have been just kind of icing on the cake. So with that, like you said, they will be able to go ahead and get those AKs out early. They could even drop an Opta Simple. Perfecto has the money for it if they so choose to go that route. But they could also just go for the 5 rifle play. Indeed, that is going to be the conclusion of that thought process. Op is going to be in play for Maluk right away. 2 MP9s still out, though, for Team1. So trying to see if they can't roll those forward and give themselves a little bit of a chance to get some use out of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of this play. You know, a lot of teams in this kind of deficit may feel like they have to go for the assault rifles, but they have full confidence, and that's why flashbang into peak and Electronic's been dealt with. They do have Simple watching, so they can't quite pick up that rifle just yet. So that's a little bit of a saving grace over on Na'Vi, and PRT tries his hand again. But they have got the first pick. This is putting them in a really good position. Decent damage as well from PRT. Even at range, he's chunked Perfecto down to 60.
And it's taken a chance spray through the smoke, and it actually nets a pretty big benefit right now. So TeamOne, again, getting those MP9s up close as best they can. Already got a pick, already have taken some hits on a few other players as well. So this is actually going swimmingly right now for TeamOne. About the best you could hope for in a bonus round like this.
Flashbang out of main. Skulls, a weakened Perfecto up against him, but still couldn't quite thread the headshot. And Pesadillo, he's looking for a potential player up there in Pop Dog, but nothing's going to be forthcoming. Elsewhere on A site, 33 seconds left. Na'Vi have to start pressing forward. Push the accelerator down to the ground, but PRT with the spray onto Boomich has 2 kills, make it 3 in quick succession. Come down and put Na'Vi into a 1-on-4. It is simple, but really not looking too great for him. Maluk just instantly wide swings the angle, takes him down, and this is the issue with Na'Vi right now, Dust. It seems on the T side, they're always struggling a little bit. It always feels like there's some banana peels out there.
Yeah, it felt like the key exchange there was Boomich going down at Ivy. You know, obviously they got slowed down initially by PRT just playing aggressive here, getting a pick and getting something going, but that was a great job from Perfecto to open up an opportunity. But once Boomich got caught at Ivy and they were able to upgrade an AK to that direction, they could focus all their attention towards T-Con and Ladder, knowing that they weren't going to get exposed to the back halls, and they would have won those fights as well. Basically, in the blink of an eye, 3 Na'Vi players were down. No way to catch all of that. Now it's just going to be the deco for Na'Vi. Incendiary comes in, Electronic burning there. I guess he actually got caught up over towards Ivy's side. It was Simple in the corner, and he actually was able to avoid the flames. But still, not a whole lot going here for Na'Vi. Just a couple of smokes, a few deagles out in play. TeamOne, well-equipped. Boomich able to at least get some ladder room access, but that is a very small battle won.
A periphery position that ultimately won't matter too much if the rest of the troops are quarterized elsewhere. And Flamey, he's been doused down. Pretty straightforward kill. Should be a straightforward round. And
Yes.
whereas we said that a lot in the first half and it kind of fell apart at the seams. Again, Na'Vi do look a little bit vulnerable on their T side. You touched on it before, Dust. Some maps Electronic seems like he's calling. There's a bit of a strange back and forth on this team. Pesadillo very nicely done with the AK, and PRT cleans up the rest. So a clean sweep as TeamOne build up their finances that little bit more.
That's a nice round win to get. It was the first real buy out of Na'Vi that they win, and so then they've immediately forced Na'Vi onto a deco and get that as well pretty clean. So they're starting to, you know, chip away at this massive lead that Na'Vi built up. Again, they had 13-2 from their CT side, about as good as it gets. But now they've met some resistance. Again, they've only been able to put their best foot forward one time, and they still haven't even gotten an op in Simple's hands yet on the T side. So still too early to have any real concerns about Na'Vi's chances of closing out Train. But if TeamOne could maybe jump up to kind of that 8 to 10 round mark, all of a sudden you'd have to start actually giving some credit to a potential comeback. But again, we're still a bit off from that. Need to see a couple of more solid gun round victories from TeamOne before I start to get my hopes up of a comeback.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with you on that assessment. Honestly, Dust, I think I need to see 2 or 3 more rounds, and then I'll begin to believe. Na'Vi, in the meanwhile, though, they have got enough finances after that pause to string together a purchase. The Simple have the AWP. He does indeed. So we'll have to see if he can have that impact. It's currently 17 frags, but to be fair, on the second half, he's not really done much. Hasn't really been afforded too many chances. Flash and smoke out from Perfecto. Looking to try and get aggressive, but good counter utilities tossed in, and Simple burning alive in the Pop Dog. So much utility tossed in, and a smoke in his eyes as well. So they've done a really good job of nullifying his position.
Yeah, again, just showing you the strength of what a CT side can do on Train with good coordination, and when they have a good economy to really have all utility at their disposal, you can just really choke people into these angles and not really give them any vision or give them any initial space to get to Olaf or E-Box or really start setting up that outer execute without taking damage or taking an unfavorable angle. So they have been stalled out. Electronic, though, with the late lurk through Ivy, those 2 kills change everything.
Oh, and now Simple can just get them as the chaos descends onto the site. They try and turn their tail around towards Ivy, and Simple pounces from Pop Dog. But that's all Electronic. That double spray is the key to unlock the round. And this is always the issue, and one that we discussed in the first half, that if you put yourself down to just 2 rounds, even if you are successful to kick off the half, you're always one mistake, you're always one big play away from slipping out potentially. Now, they do have enough funds to easily come back in with a bye, regardless of what happens to Skulls and Mobs at this point, but it will be a 14-6 deficit. Mobs holds on to his life a little bit longer, takes down Simple, and saving an AWP out of this would be a really nice turn of events. They definitely welcome an extra AWP.
Yeah, if I'm Navi, I wouldn't be chasing too much here. Their funds are actually still fairly low. And you don't want a situation where you get resets and then you're, ecoing earlier than you hope and you're allowing TeamOne to chip more and more away at the lead. Now, again, they do already have 14 rounds, so they do have plenty of cushion, but I'm happy they didn't overextend too much to chase down some weapons. TeamOne were going to be able to afford a full buy regardless of what would have happened there. Double op will be in play for TeamOne as well. Now a PRT and Maluk. Op in Simple's hands once more, as it was in the previous round. It did net 1 frag, but again, Electronics were certainly the ones that had the impact. Huge overkill spray down at Ivy. Really broke that defense down.
Ivy go in with consecutive rounds. Same start for Simple. Tries to get into Pop Dog. The spray through the smoke is sublime, and Skulls spilled down. Electronic now just takes the initiative, pushing straight through Ivy. Boomich deals with Pesadillo, who tries to get aggressive towards main. Desperation plays coming in. At least they have won that trade over on Ivy slide as Electronic is doused down somewhat, but there's still a minute and 15 to play with.
Yeah, Malv's caught a good timing to get behind Electronic there on the old bomb train lane, but as you said, it's still a massive advantage for Navi with the clock, with having a player advantage, with Malvs being on only 5 health. It's going to be very tough for TeamOne to try to claw their way back into this, but the barrel has been spotted. Malv's able to catch Simple completely off guard and drop the incendiary to stop forward progress. It's going to force Navi to kind of reroute over towards outer side. Now both CTs are playing together. Again, with Malvs on low HP, they want to buddy up and not get isolated. Malvs, though, decides to get aggressive in bot calls, clears that, knows they must be going outer now, so Maluk can swing that op over and put that focus on that outer yard. He does have an angle, just waiting to see something close. He spots a couple, lands the shot as well. This puts Boomich in a tough 1v2 now all of a sudden.
Feels like he's about to get swept in from Pop Dog from Mobs, but Mobs doesn't peek in. Again, because of his low HP, maybe very cognizant of that. And there's the wide swing from Maluk. TeamOne just about hold on for dear life. A post-plant will afford Na'Vi some luxuries going into the next round, but the Brazilians and Guatemalan proving they're no pushover just yet.
Yeah, Miles did a great job there, taking a necessary risk. When you're down a player, you have low health. If you play standard, it's very likely Navi will just take you out, but he was able to get aggro here at the ramp, find Simple, push bot calls, get the intel to allow Maluk to focus up on outer. And then they were, patient, right? Like you said, Mouse didn't just jump the gun and peek ladder right away and give Boomich a chance at a 1v1. They waited it out and used that discipline to get a victory on the board. And now, with Navi's economy like this, they win this round. It's very likely they will get to 9 before Navi can buy again. So, again, they're starting to close that gap just a bit. But again, nothing that's making Navi sweat yet.
Even within the confines of that last round, Na'Vi will feel like they had a very good chance of winning it.
Oh, yeah.
So their confidence certainly has not been shattered just yet. Mobs, though, is trying his best to make that a reality. Big kill onto Flame. He drops down to 41 HP, but using the AK against the oncoming Ts, and those double AWPs still healthy, still in prime position, with a 4-player stack on A, and all of Na'Vi, barring now Perfecto, who's decided better of joining his teammates over on Ivy. But this is very one-dimensional. Na'Vi have got to try and bust out of Ivy and get some early aggression and some early success. They have Pesadillo's watching. PRT's also keeping his eye over on the main side as Perfecto comes out. But the picks go the way of Na'Vi. The 2 entries go the way of the Ts. And suddenly TeamOne on the back foot again. There's 40 seconds to try and hold on, but that flashbang is on point. Maluk has to slightly turn his attention elsewhere. square. That allows the T's to now spill up into the open, but Mobs may have the Nuts position, hiding in the smoke, waiting for some more bullets to be barraged out towards the side. But Maluk is going to try and take this one away, and although Perfecto's got one, he has to try and connect the dots a little bit further. Mobs down to 16 speed, there's only 18 seconds, and Perfecto walks straight out into his crosshair. I can only assume it's a bit of lapse of concentration, but now Na'Vi have conceded an 8th.
I'll never understand why he just walked off with his knife out like that in a one-on-one. He saw that the guy was there, and he still pulls his knife. I don't get it. I'm at a loss, Vince. It seemed like Na'Vi were doing all the right things to fight back despite the early pick that they suffered in Inner. Like you said, they were kind of one-way focused through Ivy. They were able to make it work, though, get some good picks, at least give themselves a fighting chance, and then Perfecto just gives his life away for free there. Luckily, there's still economy left for Na'Vi. Simple's already got an opening pick as well over towards the aggression at Inner, and they might find another. Indeed, they do. Mouths gets caught this time around. He's been testing that position a few times. He's been successful. At that time, he's been caught, and now Inner is wide open for Na'Vi.
And they still have Electronic on the lure. Pesadillo needs kills, gets one, but at great cost to his life, and Simple, with the peak, has shut him down. Now Electronic can start to make a move around the back of them. And this is no longer to win the round. This is more just to cut away as much finances as possible. TeamOne are trying to save. And PRT more than likely will walk into the arms of Electronic. Could come down to timing, does come down to timing. And Electronic gets dinked, but holds on with the AK, leaving just skulls. And he's fine to buy again in the next round, but you look at Pesadillo and Maluk, they're not so fortunate.
Yeah, it's actually going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel here from TeamOne. I mean, yeah, it is going to be final round of regulation, potentially, so they're going to get what they can, but it's going to be kind of slim pickings, right? I mean, their loss bonus is not there. Only Mouths is really able to afford, like, an actual M4 and armor. Everyone else is going to be on, like, SMG, FAMAS, limited utility. This could be the breaking point, finally. TeamOne, they were, doing their best to hang around in this game, chip away at the big lead. But it seems like all those efforts may be for naught here after that round loss. Maluk only on the scout, 2 M4s out in play, and 2 Eagles just to make sure they can get some utility and a kit. And so this is looking quite dire for the Brazilians and one Guatemalan.
It is most certainly a dicey right now for the CTs, but maybe they can mount a comeback. Perfecto says no, resoundingly puts the bullet in the head of Pesadillo, but then overstays his welcome, pushes out, and is punished by Skulls. Now, they may be able to get their hands on that rifle as well, and they're going to try and deny this form of Boomich, who comes out with the Galil. Double spray in from Pop Dog, and PRT and Mobs can do little but try and hold on with their Deagle and M4. Only 2 flashes to accompany them. And our mollies, smokes, and more importantly, AK rounds are being dispersed. It's 16-8. We'll be heading into a quick break to let all of you guys